This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Today, I wanted to take a look at the Archewell website and show you something that I've uncovered that was pretty telling. So, forget about the Archewell public charity for a second. Let's talk about Archewell Productions and Archewell Audio. So, when you go on to look at Archewell Productions, what you'll notice is that they have listed only one of the projects that they had worked on, which was the Fart of Invictus. There is no sign of the 6-hour wine fest in which episode number 5 Megan defames her sister Samantha, almost as if they're separating themselves from that project. But have no fear. In the credits, it states it right here, Archewell's name up in lights. As I like to say, the internet is forever. When you look at Archewell Audio, it used to have Megan's archetypes up front and center. However, today, it's no longer there. So does that mean Megan's out of the podcasting business, or is she just bitter because Spotify dumped her? I think it's the latter. I think it's interesting that they still have listed having this partnership with Spotify, but decide to pull down the podcast, even though the podcast is still running on Spotify. Could it be that Megan realizes how badly this podcast sucked? Or could it be that Megan is so petty and bitter that she doesn't want to give any more revenue to Spotify? I think it's the latter. But speaking of that horrible podcast, remember when they announced VING and Archewell Foundation were going to provide 1,000 teens with $1,000 each for whatever? And it was only going to women. Well, I did some background work on this to see whatever happened with that. So in the Archewell Fugazi Public Charity Report for 2022, it's listed here saying, inspired by Archetypes, a Spotify original podcast created by Megan, the Duchess of Sussex. This partnership uses VING's unique model of inviting young individuals to nominate an inspiring person for a financial grant. Our joint initiative helps youth between the ages of 14 and 18 to grant a total of $1 million in $1,000 gifts to the inspiring women in their lives who are experiencing financial need. Nominators whose applications are approved receive a $1,000 check to surprise their nominee with, supporting women in need, while also helping the next generation participate in the joy of giving. Okay, so it's listed there. Was that listed anywhere on the tax return of 2022? I didn't see it. So it almost appeared like this came out of nowhere. So what is the backstory with this VING project in Archewell? Well, good thing that the founder of the Levkovsky Family Foundation, Elizabeth, did a podcast explaining how excited she was to work with Megan, the Duchess of Sussex. Take a listen.
I've worked with teenagers, and I come to this conclusion that I sort of feel like teenagers get a bad rap. And I wanted to do something to celebrate teenagers and lift them up. So long and the short, we came up with this idea. Really, my husband and I have to give him 50% of the credit because it was his idea as much as mine. And we came up with this idea of VING. Any 14 to 18-year-old in the United States, who do you know? You are the eyes and ears. Who do you know in your community doing everything right, but could really use a boost? All they have to do is send us a quick video. And then if they're selected, we literally send them a check for $1,000 made out to the recipient that they deliver. The teenager gets to be the philanthropist. They hand deliver the $1,000 check, surprise the recipient, and there is zero strings attached. It is $1,000 tax-free for them to use however best fit. Grocery bills, a car bill, whatever it is they need. And it's been pretty magical. And the greatest joy is, yes, there are hundreds of people that didn't have $1,000 the day before that then have $1,000 in hand, which is great and meaningful. But the long-term effect on the teenagers that have
Yes.
been part of the VING community, that's forever.
Oh, yeah. I know when I was 14, 15 years old, I didn't have $1,000 I could just give to somebody that I really loved and appreciated in my community.
Exactly.
That would have been a dream.
And that's so many of these kids say to us, like, really? You're going to give me $1,000? You don't even know me and you're going to trust me? And so it's all about empowering teenagers and sharing the joy of philanthropy with teenagers, putting the power in their hands. And then I always say to them, just because we started you off with $1,000 to give to someone to help, you can continue to VING anytime, all the time. Is it an umbrella to someone in the rain, or helping someone carry a heavy box,
Right.
or a $5 to get on a bus that they needed, some assistance, whatever it is. And my hope is someday when those teenagers are working adults, that they'll be able to give $25 or $100 or even $1,000, right? Who knows? But that's really been the magic.
How many VINGs have been sent so far?
So I want to say we're probably somewhere around 1,000.
Awesome.
And then we're hoping the goal is to double that this year.
Amazing. That's so exciting. And I know you have a new partnership that's very exciting that I want to talk about with the Archewell Foundation that is inspired by Meghan Markle, who is, I don't know if she still goes by the title of Duchess of Essex. I don't know how that works with all the, I watched The Crown.
I refer to her as the Duchess, I think out of respect. But honestly, I have to say the interactions that we've had, she's probably fine with Meghan.
It seems like she would be. That's what you get from an outsider's viewpoint. And look, that's a partnership that organizations would dream of having. I've been listening to her podcast on Spotify, which is Archetypes, for anyone who's wondering what I'm talking about. She has a great one with Serena Williams, and she has all sorts of amazing guests on there. But how did this partnership come to life? Because I know people listening are like, what?
You know what? It's similar to the story you and I just told. So someone that works with Meghan at her new foundation and the podcast that she's doing is someone that I connected with through VING a year ago or 2 years ago already on other things, similar to the way that you and I did. And when she moved over to work with Meghan, she told Meghan about it, and they reached out and they were like, wow, we would love to do this. There's such great synergy.
Wow.
She's so amazing and impressive. Yeah. And you know what? At the end of the day, we are so aligned in our goals about supporting women and children and teenagers and uplifting amazing women. And so the timing was just perfect. She was launching this podcast all about uplifting women and telling stories. And so we came up with this project together where we're saying, let's give away 1,000 VINGs this year to women, amazing women. So the goal is that this round, this $1 million will be all women recipients, but again, with the same mission of amazing women doing everything right and could just use a boost. And it's been really fun. And she has surrounded herself with amazing people. She has a fabulous team. And so I'm really excited to see what this new year brings. And we'll have lots of good stories to tell and lots of good things to share.
That's so exciting.
That woman that was just speaking is Liz Lefkowski, and her husband is Eric Lefkowski, and they have a foundation called the Lefkowski Family Foundation. And it's a legitimate foundation. Like, they have some serious money because Eric is a founder of Groupon. Those that don't know what Groupon is, well, it's another one of those tech companies providing coupons. And yeah, they're self-made billionaires. Groupon is not the only company he's got. He's got Echo Global Logistics, Inner Workings, and Media Ocean, which All of these companies are doing extremely well as it's based in technology and AI. It's no surprise he's connected to the World Economic Forum. I mean, he is a tech entrepreneur, so I would expect that. And my guess is that his wife has got time to kill and money to burn, and so she's doing something good with philanthropy. I would like to think that. However, we have to be skeptical because anything that touches Meghan Markle has proven itself to be corrupt to the core. I'm not saying that the Lefkowski Family Foundation is corrupt. I am saying, though, that they are of the same liberal progressive mindset. So, going along the lines with the WEF trying to take away more and more of our freedoms and gaining more control by all the nonsense that they are playing right now, you can assume that these tech companies or these technocrats all see in a similar direction. And what's concerning is that Meghan and Harry both have been attacking our First Amendment. We know that Harry wants privacy taken away. And also, too, remember, Meghan had all of a sudden, out of nowhere, supported gun control by going and pulling that stunt, disgusting stunt at Uvalde. So, what we're seeing here with the Lefkowski Family Foundation, they are big supporters of increased gun control legislation and taxpayer funded abortions. Yes, these folks are population reduction by killing them babies and taking away your guns so you can't defend yourself. To get an idea as to what drives these causes that they support, you have to look at the investments that the foundation or the investments that are made by the family and that are in the foundation to get a gauge as to what they're seeing as a money making trend. And clearly, AI is the direction that we're going. But more importantly, it is healthcare AI that this guy, Eric Lefkowski, is focusing on, which tells me that he's on board with getting all of our data centralized under, this agreement with the World Economic Forum, the UN, and the WHO, the World Health Organization, pushing for this pandemic treaty because that's a lot of money for all these tech companies, should they be able to succeed in that. When you think about the pro abortion, why do you think a lot of these liberals and in Silicon Valley are supportive of it? It's because they want those fetuses to be able to use it for science or whatever advancement in bio, tech that they can get their hands on. This is what's going on. I mean, there is a full market for this stuff, which is pretty sick and twisted, but I'm not going to get into that. But I don't doubt that Meghan and Harry are also in the know about that kind of stuff. So now Meghan, the faux feminist that she is, made it a point to announce that these grants in partnership with VING were going to go to girls. So, what do we think the $1,000 grants could be applied to since we have Meghan so pro abortion? These are things that we have to pay attention to and see what's really going on. I could totally see Megan giving out grants to help women in healthcare, quote unquote, right? Planned Parenthood stuff. Obviously, this is all speculation. I mean, we're in 2024, and it sounded like Liz was so hopeful that in 2023 there were going to be exciting things to be announced, or shown, but there has been nothing shown. And seeing in the Archewell returns, doesn't look like there's much activity going on. So I would think that this project with Ving kind of is going to get swept under the rug and never spoken of again. But of course, we're going to bring it up because we need to point out these things because these two clearly had an agenda when they moved back here to the United States. And, quite frankly, it does appear to me as if, Megan was trying to sabotage our country. She's such a hateful person and doing all these things to take away people's rights or impact our constitutional rights. To me, it's borderline treason if we look at it from the perspective of these two trying to dismantle our democracy, especially since Harry is a foreign prince on US soil. involving himself with our government. She has married this guy. And with her position within the royal family listed on the website, doing her service and serving the king, it could be seen as undermining our democracy and being a traitor to this country, which, I would put up an argument about that, showing you all the alignments that we have here, trying to break down our Constitution and dismantle democracy. I'll leave on this final note. Barjack put out this tweet today by saying some veterans are frowning on Prince Harry's Living Legend Award as an attempt to publicity chase. I think that veterans and anyone in service need to push back on any organization that allows Prince Harry to represent them. I think it's a bad idea. Clearly, he is against the United States and our freedoms, as, he should not be involved in any of this stuff, but he is. Everything seems to be unraveling for these two. And, you just got to look deeper. And I thought I would just follow up with this for everybody to see that there's always an agenda with Meghan. And things are starting to make sense as to why there were certain alignments. And, it's laughable that this woman attaches herself to these things and does not follow through. Have we seen anything from the VING project? They're probably embarrassed that they made the decision to partner with these or associate with these two idiots. But what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
You're such a fraud.